Oh, we are live.
Hello and welcome to Bulls, Bear and Banter.
GST घट गई ना snacks पे.
Yes.
I'm snacking.
Less 18% GST.
मखाना पे कम हुआ है.
मखाना पे स्पेसिफिक रीजन नहीं पता मखाना
Do you
पे
guys
कौन-
know if मखाना पे कम हुआ है?
हाँ अब हुआ ही होगा सर.
घी पे?
सर ब्रांडेड मखाना पे तो कम जो आप मखाना खा रहे हो उस पे तो कम हुआ ही होगा. इस पे कोई डाउट नहीं है.
अच्छा घी पे कम हुआ है घी?
घी पे भी कम हुआ है.
5% तो है.
Yes,
अब
yes.
पहले कितना
कम
था
हुआ
वो
है.
नहीं पता, बट अभी तो 5 है.
12.
घी पे हाँ 12 से 5% हुआ
12
है.
से
हाँ,
5
बट
हुआ है.
मखाने पे 5 है.
चलो then this is good. वैसे स्टील के डब्बे पे हुआ है पता है?
वो भी हुआ है.
वो भी हुआ है.
सब.
So my total package is cheaper. Not bad. It's a great day.
No, this is expensive, sir. Because you already paid for it.
नहीं आगे
The
चलते
next
हुए.
one, huh?
Next one.
आगे चलते हुए.
So are you going to spend? Are you going to buy a new steel box?
By the number of boxes that I keep on losing.
Yeah.
वैसे कल आप मेरा एक बॉक्स लेके गए हैं, आपको मुझे वो देना है ना? Anyways, but the reason why there is so much of chill around here is that because this is good, yeah. What's happening is good, yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading this Bernstein note, वेणुगोपाल करे वाला, जो normally थोड़ा conservative, critical रहा है of all actions, right? Not critical. Critical is a strong term, but you know what I'm saying. It's not like हाँ सब कुछ तोप है.
हाँ.
उसने लिखा है कि these measures are much better than what the speculations were as well, part one, and which is true by the way. They've happened at a rapid pace, which is also true. And now you would argue that the powers to be, which is the government, Reserve Bank, ये वो मिल मिला के, everybody has done everything that they possibly can to spur consumption. अब अभी इंडियन कंज्यूमर के हाथ में है whether वो consumption होता है कि नहीं. And I was doing a conversation with Madhusudan Kela.
Yeah. He was telling you that there's something more which is in the pipeline. This is just the start.
Yeah.
So what was that he was?
Nothing. No, he just said कि he's heard that, for example, decriminalization हो रहा है हजार एक और चीज का. But that was just one example.
Okay.
He said that there are a bunch of other things that can happen and should
on
happen
the
and will
ease
happen.
of doing business side of things.
The first of the many things. So yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good. The markets have kind of given up. थोड़ा profit booking at higher
Yeah,
levels.
because like something like escorts has been like largely flattish for last 6 quarters to say the least. I think till we spoke to them a month ago on results, they were very bullish. We have these white spaces and we'll launch new products. They did launch new products, और अभी ये जब हो गया, so it was almost 13% up. Now it's I think 4 or 5% up, but still it could be like because the valuation gap between escorts and Mahindra, of course, Mahindra has cars, is quite big. तो वो अभी थोड़ा तो at least could
But yeah,
be
Puneet,
better.
मुझे बात बताओ. I read multiple things.
Yeah.
Almost everybody said it's almost as if M&M शायद GST council में बैठे थे. Okay.
Everything got benefited.
Yeah, their
Across
whole
the board.
portfolio has gotten benefited.
Yeah,
Right? They are really lucky in that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
right?
they are, yeah.
So how lucky are they?
So-
Stock तो अभी 6,000 ऊपर है.
Yeah.
How lucky is it? Is there a possible to gauge what the earnings impact could be?
So I think earnings impact, because largely I'm guessing this will be passed on completely, right, to the consumer, like the 10% cut. So I think
But consumption boost?
consumption boost so definitely is going to be big, and for him specifically because majority of his vehicles are in the premium space. So that was one impact which was going to be, and uska kya 3 hai because it's tractors and this thing, but he also has these commercial vehicle division which he operates in the small commercial vehicle space. I think wo wala business also everyone's will see a GST reduction to 18%. Mainly to I think I had a number here for Mahindra also, because how much is his main business which gets positively contributed, because, and I think when we spoke to him this morning, I think he also mentioned that 40% of his portfolio, which is SUVs, gets benefited. The rest of the business also tractors hai, so that goes from 12 to 5. And then the commercial vehicle aspect, which goes from 28 to 18. So he has 3 different verticals that get benefited. The issue was that auto parts currently were at 28, which will now go to 18. Basically, the issue was that tractors are below auto parts earlier also, and now also the differential was 5 to 18. So there's that inverted duty structure which was there, and these guys used to claim ITC on all of these aspects. So wo wala they have mentioned, I think the government has come out and mentioned that next 3 to 4 months they will resolve all these issues for ITC across segments. So they will also get benefited. But for Mahindra, it's expected to that it's across all 3 segments that they get benefited on essentially.
Yeah. क्या है सर, किसी का केक है तो हमें दे दीजिए, हम खा लेते हैं. हाँ
हाँ, yeah,
मुझे लगा मेरे लिए आया है. Unfortunately not. Any which ways. So okay, so M&M still net beneficiary, right?
Yeah, across the
Big
board.
beneficiary.
Big, yeah.
NBFCs?
NBFCs.
I heard big beneficiary. Yes, no, why not?
NBFC is focusing on consumer lending, Bajaj Finance, and the like. Again, good benefit coming through. Uh, CV and PV financiers, because Puneet is quite bullish, and therefore I have to automatically get bullish on it because my sector is
Yeah.
linked to his. And if there is going to be consumption there, then that's again another positive. In fact, Shriram Finance had guided for 15% growth. They've now upped their guidance to 18%. Likely would have happened anyway, frankly, but I think he's in a better position or more comfortable position to say that he will do 18% now than maybe what he was earlier. So that's the other positive. And so those pockets will do well on the lending side of things. But there's of course then the insurance pocket, which also does well. So lenders on the consumption side will obviously do very well. And then there is insurance, which is likely also to experience a volume uptick, especially in Q3. And this Yashish Dahiya said. He came. Yashish Dahiya is the founder of Policy Bazaar, and he said that Q3 will see a sharp surge in terms of numbers, and a lot of that will be volume driven. Thereafter, it'll largely normalize. That's what he said. But Q3 will be strong, is what he indicated. So that's on the financials and both on NBFCs, lenders, and insurance.
Okay, interesting. Viewers, before we get to specific questions, please put your likes so that Puneet and Hersh can take questions. I'll have to bounce it a bit. But I did a small exercise that the top 5 takeaways from a market's perspective, right, for this. So one, the fisc impact is about 20 basis points. Now, there are some assumptions on this. 20 basis points because you assume that some bit of it will be shared by the center, some bit of it by the state. It is only for half a year. And there will be some benefits that come in because of the consumption piece as well, which will lead to uptick in revenue as well. So therefore, 20 basis points. Some might argue it's 30, some might argue it's 40, some might argue it's 15. You choose whatever you want, but it's not a very Herculeanly large impact on fisc. That's part one. Part two, big spurt on consumption, which is the intent of the government. FY26 is supposed to be a year wherein the boost to the GDP comes not because of capex, but because of consumption. Sure, defense capex, etc. may happen, but it's consumption-led boost that comes in because that's what's the right thing to do. You can't boost capex after you've tried it for 3-4 years. Might as well give consumption a chance. That's part two. In the pecking order, as people have said, and correct me if both of you, if you differ, autos, the whole AC value chain, autos and auto ancillary effectively, the whole air conditioner value chain, big beneficiary, FMCG, big beneficiary, and insurance. And Hersh will talk about insurance, the pros and cons of insurance, by the way, because we spoke to Niva Pupa and he said that there are some issues as well when we ask him. So that's 3. And 4, more measures to come. A lot of other measures to come. This is the first of the many big steps that the government hopefully will take, the ease of doing business, right? The third term of Prime Minister Modi is now starting to make its presence really felt. It started with the budget, by the way, to an extent, but now it's really starting to make its presence felt, both on the global and the local stage. Let's see if these moves are good enough to spur consumption and thereby earnings from a market's perspective. I'm only talking from a market's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll have to bounce, but Hersh, definitely please mention about insurance because it's a bit of an unclear area as to what's happening there, right?
Yes.
And then other things. But viewers, please put in the likes so that
you want to answer one question. This is all for you. Will there be any benefit, anything for real estate prices across the country, considering 40% slab on luxury projects and it's not included in this? If you have any idea.
Was this gonna be included also? I don't know. But part one, but part two, could there be? I think mere hisab se, real estate prices are not a function of MRP, right? The builders price it as they see demand supply into a project and into that area. So I don't know if this really has that much of an impact. The positive for real estate is that cement prices will come off because the mandate is GST cut aata hai, so cement companies have to pass it off, or any company has to pass it off. So it will get passed off. Over a time, cement companies might hike prices, etc. That's separate. But for now, maybe real estate companies for the intermediate period might benefit. So I think that's the thing. Sorry, I don't have an idea about the 40% slab, so I'd rather not comment on it. Okay, guys, have a good show. I'll see
Thank
you
you. Bye.
on the closing
Closing.
show.
Yes.
A very big interview coming up at about 1:30 on NDTV Profit. So I want to tune in for that as well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So where insurance is concerned, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just mentioned it, two things have happened. One is, of course, that there's going to be a rate cut from 18% to zero, which effectively brings the cost of your insurance down by around 15%. Because 100, if say you are paying a premium of 100 rupees, you would land up paying 18 rupees of GST, and therefore you'd be paying 118 rupees today, and therefore on the grossed up number, which is 118, only the 18 rupees gets reversed,
yeah.
and which means that it's 18 over 118, which is roughly 15%. So that's the discount you get on your insurance premium. The concern here is that earlier, if Puneet was my agent and I'm an insurance company, I would tell Puneet to go and sell insurance to you. And on the insurance he sells, I have to pay him a commission. On that commission as well, I have to pay GST to him. Now, GST is a law where you get an offset. The GST that I pay Puneet, I get an offset when I pay that GST on behalf of my customer. So I have to pay only the net amount.
Net amount, yeah.
Does this amount, me paying Puneet, GST change? No. But does the amount that I pay on behalf of my customer change? Yes, because I don't have to pay the 18 rupees GST anymore. And therefore, this amount will now come as an added cost burden to the insurance company. What will the insurance company do? They have 2-3 options. One is that they'll probably pass it on to customers. So they may say that, okay, 100 rupees is your premium, 18 rupees was the GST, and therefore now the premium is 100. But there is a 2 rupee element of GST on the commission payment that I'm making to my commission agent, and therefore my premium is priced at 102 and not at 100.
Yeah.
So that could be one thing. The second way of playing this is the possibility that commissions itself will come down. So I may tell Puneet, hey, listen, I'm not paying you 10 rupees of commission anymore, plus 18% GST. I'm going to pay you only 9 rupees of commission now, plus 18% GST. We both will share the cost, and therefore commissions may come down along with some burden borne by the insurance company. So there could be various ways in which this could play out.
Yeah.
But of course, companies are non-committal. When you're speaking to a Niva Bupa, otherwise, they're non-committal with regard to how this, how they are planning to pass through or how they're planning to account for this. And of course, the third way is that the company accepts the cost entirely themselves and says that, okay, this is part of my cost structure now.
Yeah.
The volumes will take care of this inefficiency of sorts that is getting created as a result of what they call the inverted duty structure.
Sure,
That's what they call it. So that's the way one looks at insurance. But of course, if you're buying insurance, the urge is that, of course, look at the key dates on which you have to renew, but wait till the 22nd of September, because GST rate for sure will come down. It has to. If your insurer is not reducing it, then that is impossible. It's not correct, and you can actually question them under GST law.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what's interesting is all companies that have come today on our channel has said one thing, that no company will be allowed to profiteer because of the GST rate cut. That
Of course.
if it's gone from 28 to 18, I will have to pass on that 10% to the consumer immediately, and then we'll see if there is any cost impact. Like for cement, we had the management of Shree Cement today, and they clearly said that we'll pass them on immediately. Some petcoke prices, coal prices have gone up, and we look at it in October if we want to hike prices at that time. But currently, if a cement bag is going for around 350 to 360 rupees, that will see a 10% cut, and they've come out and said roughly 25 to 30 rupees per bag. As a consumer, you will get that benefit. As a company, if you're a shareholder of a cement company, they will see and rationalize what kind of price hike they could take. So eventually, net, by the end of the year, they could pass on 15 rupees or 18 rupees to the consumer. But there will be definitely the full impact being passed on right now. There was also one very interesting question which has on by in terms of the auto pack, somebody had asked that, how do you define the small car segment? So we'll just, give, because we spoke about M&M previously. For small cars, the definition of GST has changed now. Now it's based on CC. So if your car is 1200 cc and below and less than 4 meters, which is essentially the smaller car, that will get a reduction in GST from 28 to 18%. That's one. And the other aspect of for diesel, if it's 1.5 liters and below 4 meters, that also gets the GST benefit now of 18%. The other is tractors, it goes from 12 to 5. Commercial vehicles goes from 28 to 18. So the likes of Ashok Leyland and all these truck makers get benefited. And tractors have gone from 12 to 5, as I mentioned. So Escorts, M&M getting that benefit as well. So that's on auto. Cement has gone from 28 to 18. And consumer durables essentially has gone from 28 to 18. So ACs, refrigerator companies, all those are getting benefited there. And EMS. So these 3-4 sectors that I look at, all of them have got the benefit. Hersh, you spoke about insurance. So those were some of the key ones which has definitely seen that benefit as well. So that
term
is the
life,
definition.
term life is one of the plans which is going to be most affected. Term life used to be subject to an 18% GST. Now 0. That's a big one. And it basically pushes protection your way. And maybe that's the right way to look at life insurance as well, to look at protection in a better fashion. So maybe term life. The other piece, Puneet, is the fact that if we were just to put all of the happenings of the last
we have time till 12:25, so send your questions soon,
please,
so we can answer them at the end as well.
And please hit like, guys. Means a lot to us. Now there are a few things that have happened. If you were just to zoom out a little bit, your interest rates have come down with the repo being brought down. You have this boost with regard to consumption coming through. So not only are you pushing consumption, you're pushing consumption at lower rates, which is all favorable and beneficial. And all of that likely should have an impact in H2. That's what the market is going to soon start pricing in, if not already priced in.
Definitely.
So that's something that, of course, you have to look out for. That not only has the repo rate come down and therefore lending rates effectively come down, you also have this push from a GST perspective, which should aid the numbers overall.
Yep, definitely. I think a couple of questions we'll just take. So one was from Raghusa, was mentioning eagerly waiting to hear you guys discuss on GST. Raghusa, I hope this discussion has been fruitful. If you have any questions, do send them. Prasanna Nayak had mentioned Sajid is missed badly. He has a different perspective. I sent. Check WhatsApp. You. The other one's Prasanna Nayak. He was mentioning about Sajid being missed badly. He has a different perspective. Not sure the reason for the sudden exit, and there will be something to watch. But he's, Vighin Dharan has also mentioned, best wishes to him. He brings the balance to the team as others are usually bullish. Now one of you has to deliberately play the devil's advocate, and we'll see between me and Hersh who can pick up that role, because for Niraj, I don't think he's going to change his bullish stance as well. The question one was on MSME lender, SBFC and Arman. GST cut will indirectly help these lenders with collection efficiency improvement and low NPS. Microfinance may also benefit. Your views?
Yeah, very possible. So because they do MSME lending and because this rate cut may well spur consumption, you might see some benefit come through to MSME. Maybe the working capital cycle gets better because in any case, in an economic slowdown, you do see some bit of drag, but it's difficult to quantify. It's very, very tough to quantify, and therefore, what you want to do is you also want to try and do your own study and figure out whether how much of an impact that could well make. But yes, for sure it does, and it helps push out lending as well, because lending rates will come down. Some of that will get translated to margins. Some of that may get passed on to the customer. So either it will lie as a profit pool in the NBFC, or it may actually benefit the customer. Where that profit pool lies is, of course, something that we need to look out for and wait and watch for. So yeah, Sadanand Sinha, great show, guys. Kudos to NDTV Profit. Hi, Puneet, can you define small vehicle as per Transport Ministry, considering various variants? Petrol, diesel, CNG. By the way, I'm going to landmark cars as well. So you need to tell me as to how does this rate cut impacts on the luxury
Yeah.
cars as well as some of the economy cars on both the
both
ends of the spectrum.
so economy, so we just mentioned 1200 cc, below 1200 cc, as well as below 4 meters, you get that benefit of 18% versus 28. That's one. The other aspect which is mentioning on petrol, diesel, CNG, hybrid. So petrol, CNG, and hybrids have now come to 18% with this because of the lower GST cuts. Below 1.5 liters, diesel has also come to 18% as well. So you get that benefit on that. And that's for small cars specifically. In terms of SUVs specifically, there were a lot of companies between 43 to 50%, and that's because 28% GST plus you had additional cess between 15 to 20%, 15 to 22%. So something like the Mahindra XUV 700 used to have 48%, including the GST and cess.
Correct.
Now that goes to 40%, a straight cut. So you will still see Mahindra getting that 8% benefit on the SUV portfolio, and that's largely 2/3 of the portfolio, which is SUV or the bigger cars. That's one. On luxury, you're seeing that reduce again in a similar fashion to the larger SUVs. They were between 43 and 50, and they've effectively gone down to 40%. Now, the base for a Mercedes on one of the models, the price is 80 lakhs. Even if you reduce the price, the GST from 43 to 40, you are effectively going to save 3 lakh rupees on the vehicle, which is a lot. Even though that consumer is affluent, you are at least pushing them to buy it as soon as September 22nd. So them definitely get benefited. Landmark cars, because they have all these luxury as well as the middle premium range, essentially. They have Jeep, they have M&M, they have Mercedes. They get that benefit. On the other spectrum, someone like Popular Vehicles, which is their closest competitor, has 60 to 70% of the sales coming from Maruti. And that also is a segment that's gotten benefit. So both these auto dealers on opposite spectrums are getting that benefit because of GST as well.
So just to completely dumb it down, for a 10 lakh rupee car that I'm buying, which is within the 4 meter range and within the
1200
1.5,
cc, yeah. If it's
1.5
diesel, yeah,
engine,
1.5 liters. Yeah.
right? If I'm below both of those thresholds, I get a straight 10% on the
On the
price,
price.
not on the on road price,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
on the price bit,
yeah.
which is on the website, right?
Correct,
So if
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
10 lakh rupee price, I get a straight
You
1
get a
lakh
10%,
rupee off.
yeah.
And for the more expensive ones, which is say a 30 lakh rupee XUV 700, and anything which doesn't fall within this 4 meter plus 1.5 engine criteria, I get an 8% on the on the price. So
Price,
say
yeah.
on a 30 lakh rupee, I get 2.5 lakhs
Yeah.
off.
So that's effectively, and we put out this piece as well by model, which
Yes.
cars get cheaper
Yes,
as well.
yes,
So
yes.
for the
I remember
small
that.
cars, we've taken an average range of 7 to 8% is the reduction that they will see essentially because of this aspect. So if your car costed somewhere around 7 lakh 40 to 7 lakh 50, you see a 7 to 8% reduction. And I think I remember for Baleno, it will now cost 6 lakh 84 versus 7 lakh 40 earlier. So you see that direct benefit there as well. Satanand also has another question on real estate that Niraj sir has answered. Term insurance, I think, what about the term insurance bought last year? Will they reduce the GST for annual payments for September 30th?
Yes, they will. So
Varun had this question. Very interesting question, Varun.
Varun, you're right. All payments that you make post 22nd of September will be eligible for zero nil rated GST, uh, regardless of whether you paid that GST last year or otherwise. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Sagar Jain, great show as always. Thank you, missing Sajid sir. Not the only show, but also among the comments so far. Thoughts on Black Buck, Sagar, on logistics specifically. I think, and I don't know about Zinca. I don't track Zinca unfortunately, but from a GST perspective, it should only aid the logistics industry because you'll have more goods moving around across states, sectors, as well as between value chains, and therefore what you will likely see is logistics within the entire system, within the entire country go up, and therefore beneficial. But frankly, don't have a view on Zinca in particular. So that's something that you will have to shape yourself. Arun Ramachandran, regarding Varun Beverages, why is it down? There is no tax impact on it. You're absolutely right, Arun. Some of these stocks, they rallied in the morning and we're seeing some bit of profit booking. We started this show telling you that likely it is that, because Varun was in the green in the morning, if I recall right.
Yeah.
But I
the
think
only
it's
the
come
only
off.
confusion is because while the rate is quite similar, I think it was at 28 GST plus 12.
Yes.
So 40, and now it's going into a straight 40% bracket. There is some component of input tax credit, essentially of how much it was there before, and it might not be there. So we'll wait for the earnings impact, if any, on Varun Beverage, because that is a change for them. But it is a puzzling stock to say the least, because from the morning we would try to figure out if
No,
the
but
rate,
you do get a credit.
you do get a credit,
which is
in
a
the
key
next
positive.
yeah.
So basically, earlier you would get credit only on 28% of
Yes.
GST. Now you get credit on the full 40% when you're paying out the full 40%. So 12% was a mandatory tax, which regardless, even if you have credit, Varun would have to pay.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now Varun gives amazing guidance, so we'll have to wait and watch maybe at the end of Q2 as to what is it that they say of the exact impact, and you want to look out for that guidance. The minute it comes out,
Yeah.
you'll get a very clear sense on what's happening on Varun. But they give very clear guidance, so that's something that maybe you can
Sorry,
look out
I will
for.
have to bounce as well
No.
for the show.
So we close for the day.
For the day, yeah.
Thank you so much, viewers, for coming in, asking us your questions. Please hit like and please subscribe as well.
Apologies for the truncated version, but we will be back tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you.